Okay, it is www.kingdomvisionaries.igniteᵃ.com. Again, www.kingdomvisionaries.igniteᵃ.com. Post your questions in there throughout the call, and we will answer them within the last 15 minutes. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you our expert guest speaker today, the wonderful, the talented, the amazing Miss Stephanie Valentine. Hello, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Thank you, Sadie, for that awesome introduction. Oh, my goodness, I feel so honored.
Absolutely. You are a woman of many accomplishments, and I'm just honored. I'm honored that you even agreed to speak with us today on goal setting and the art of taking action. How are you this evening?
I am wonderful this evening. I cannot complain at all.
That is wonderful to hear.
I'm really excited to talk to your audience about goal setting because that has really become my passion, something that I'm really good at discussing. So I'm just honored and happy to be here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us and blessing us with your knowledge. So let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. We are so limited on time. So why do we need goals? Why is goal setting so important for entrepreneurs?
That is like a really loaded question, and I can go on for days about that. But in a nutshell, goals are like the compass in our lives. It drives us and keeps us focused so that we aren't randomly going from one thing to the other and, wandering like an aimless child, never really getting anywhere. It gives us long-term vision to where we desire to be, and in essence, it centers us. It anchors us. So for entrepreneurs, it's really important because you need to know what direction you're going with your business, as well as making sure that it is aligned with your purpose and your path in life. And there's so much that you have to learn and do when it comes to business. So it's imperative that you know what you want and the direction that you want your business to go. And goal setting is the only way to do that.
Okay, that's very understandable. I know for all of us that listen to personal development, all of us that have businesses that are on this call, we know that nothing gets done if we don't set the goal and then take the action to do it. So how would you suggest to the audience, how would you suggest for them to properly set the goal so that way it can better their business and their lives? How to properly set goals?
My thing is that you have to nurture the soil before planting the seed. And what I mean by that is you have to really, your thought process and how you think and how you feel have to be intact. What many people do and where they fail is that they make a goal, they put it on paper, they say they're going to do something, but their thought process is still in their old way. So they fail before they even get started. So before you even if you have a goal and that's something that you want to do, I'm not saying not to write it down, but write it down and chew on it. Nurture the soil, like tend to the soil. Make sure that what you're doing, your mindset is there and ready to take on the challenges of that goal. Be honest with yourself and make sure that it's something that you truly want to accomplish and it's not something that someone else is telling you that you should do this or you would be good at doing this. And make sure that the goal is going to make you a better person. Is it going to be better for your family, your career, your business, etc.? Make sure that it's going to better you and not just something that's going to keep you complacent in where you are. So when I say nurture the soil, you really got to do the thinking about it before you actually try to take those steps to do anything.
All right.
The second thing I would say is after you've done that, have a plan. Write it down. What do you need to do first? What actions do you need to do to take to get it done? Do you need help? Do you have to take on a partner? Accountability. Write all of that stuff down so that when you start, doing your research, you know what it is that you need to do. You're not, running around with like a chicken with your head cut off, like, okay, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do first. You have a map. You have your plan, your blueprint. And then the third thing I would say is be committed. You can't do anything if you're not committed to your goal. the absolute worst thing that you can do when it comes to goal setting is not be committed to your own self. That is the worst. So
yes,
I say those
absolutely.
would be my top 3 things.
Yes, we know that if we're not committed, then if we're not committed to your goals, then you're not committed to yourself, and you're not committed to the vision that God has given you. You're not being diligent.
Right.
So let me ask you, what made you interested in helping people with goal setting?
When I initially started coaching, I was, coaching the youth. And, as you said, I started with my girls program. And I began seeing a trend with the parents of the girls that I was teaching and I was mentoring. I began to see a trend in characteristics that were parallel to the same things that I had gone through, trying to figure out my way, lack of direction, excuses for not trying, and mainly fear. So I kind of, stumbled into goal setting because people would ask, how did you know that this is what you needed to do? Or how did you go about planning your program? Or how do you do this? And sometimes when people ask you, how do you do something, you have to sit and think about it because, we're just in robot mode. We just do. When I sat back and thought about it, it was goals. I created a goal, and I took a plan of action on implementing. So when I launched the Maximize Your Zone movement, it was even more apparent that I knew that goal setting was the way to really get the women moving and maximizing their zone, because before you can get to where you want to be, you need to know where you want to be in order to confidently do it. So goal setting is, again, that's the anchor. That's the key. So that's kind of how I got into it. It was God ordained, because I certainly, didn't set out to do it. But, when you allow God to lead, He leads you down a path that you're like, okay, wait a minute, I'm not sure about this. I want to question all the time. I question God all the time because, I'm like, okay, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I equipped to do this? But we all know that He doesn't. When he gives us something, He already equips us. Whether we believe it or not, we already have the equipment and requirements that we need to do it. We just have to trust. So I didn't set out to do the goal setting, but I found that it is what I am good at. So why not share it? Why not teach it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the Bible says that the steps of a good man are ordered by God. And it's so interesting that you just mentioned that we are already pre-wired, we are already pre-equipped. That's something that Nathan had discussed yesterday when he talked about purpose, saying that everything that we need to fulfill a vision, it's already given to us. We just have to nurture and cultivate it.
Yes.
So I am in full agreement with what you just said. How has goal setting and taking action on those goals impacted your life and your business?
Oh, man. I have to say that, for me, I've always been that type of person who I've it, with goals. I can think back to childhood when, coming out of high school, where if I didn't have a goal, I felt completely lost, like a child wandering around the store. So when I look back over my life, it always started with a thought of something that I wanted to do or thought I could, I can picture or imagine myself doing. I would write out the pros and cons. I would do my research, and then I would create a plan, and then I would start taking action. But I have to say none of that would be possible if that vision or that little seed wasn't planted in my imagination first. And I have to preface that to say that I went to a conference earlier in last year in the summer, and Steve Harvey spoke about imagination. And he said that imagination is really just God already telling you what you are able to do. He's already given you the vision by using your imagination. So if you can imagine it, it's already going to happen. You just have to do the work and take action to make it reality. So, yeah, goal setting has always been a part of me.
Okay. Thank you for that information. I remember that I had seen you on Periscope, and you were talking about how fabulous and how rich the conference was and how it changed your life.
Mhm. Yes. When I went to that, I honestly didn't know what to expect. I wasn't sure, what it was going to be like, because I'm like, okay, this is Steve Harvey. What can he say or tell me? But when I went, I felt so changed, and I was intimidated because the resort was absolutely beautiful. And in a million years, I had never dreamed that I would be on a resort like that because it was so fancy, it was so elegant. And what he said, at the end of that conference, it was like he was speaking to me. And he said, you're probably wondering why I had you come here to this resort, how to have people wait on you hand and foot, to have people, chauffeur you wherever you need to go, et cetera, et cetera. He said, I wanted to open up your mind. I wanted you to see you've never seen before, so that when you go back home to where you are from, that you will never be the same, that you will want that again, and that you will strive to get to that. You will go back changed. You will go back wanting more for yourself. And he was so right. He was so right, because
so it worked.
Yes. It's like I've seen what can be accomplished if I do the work. If I set my goals and if I actively commit and achieve my goals, I see what can happen. So that was life-changing for me.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. How could it not be when you have someone of Steve Harvey's caliber who takes the time to pour into you such great knowledge and such great wisdom and discuss with you all of the things that he has been through in order to achieve his success? One thing that you had said on that Periscope, you were saying the ticket was like $200, and he was saying his wife's shoes are quadruple that amount. He is doing this to feed back into people.
Mhm. Yep, exactly. It's like for him, he said it wasn't about the money. He said he makes, Steve Harvey, he's going to brag. He said he makes that, drop in the bucket, on one television show, Family Feud or whatever. So he said what he was trying to do was to give us the opportunity to be enriched, to be able to connect with people that we would never have the chance to connect to see what is possible if we soar. And, and it's a play on words, and it really is, to see if we leap and spread our wings and soar, we could see what is possible. So it definitely was impactful for me. And I have to say, I really haven't been the same since I've been back. I have really stepped my game up 100%. 100%, definitely.
That's beautiful. That's the point of conferences like Steve Harvey and this teleconference. I don't want my listeners to go back to their existence the same.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point. Yep. So he definitely accomplished what he set out to do, and God is good.
Oh, my goodness.
So yes. Often, what gets in the way of people on taking action on the goals that they set? What are some distractions that you see that are so common that knock people off of taking action for their goals?
You're probably going to laugh at this, and it's so painfully obvious, but it's us. It's you.
Oh,
period.
Tell it. Tell it.
And I'm good for stepping on toes. I don't sugarcoat much, because I don't believe in, sugarcoating. But I believe that a lot of the time, 95% of the time, we get in our own way. We stop ourselves from taking action and accomplishing our goals. Because I feel that no one can stop you from doing anything that you set your mind to, because it's already God ordained. We already talked about that. We already said he's already given us the vision. He's planted the seed. He's told us what we need to do. He's given us the provision. All we need to do is do it. No one can stop that. No man, no devil, no nothing can stop what God has ordained. So if he's giving you all of that, who's stopping you but you? Because you've got excuses of, I can't do it because, I'm tired. I need to get my 8 hours of sleep, or, I'm fearful. What are people going to think if I do this? Or what are my friends going to say? Or I'm going to lose my friends, or, or you don't know why you're doing it. You don't understand your why, or you give up too soon. All of those things are internal. They have nothing to do externally. So they're internal self-doubt. So if you can move past that and just move and operate in the fear, then you can accomplish anything. Because, again, it's already God ordained. And one of the phrases or quotes that I found myself saying it, and I kind of like, I have to say anything that I say is not me. It's always God speaking through me. But your fear is just your faith trying to prevail. So when you walk in that fear, you have to know that your faith is right behind it. So if you continue to walk in it, faith is right on the other side. And we already know what's on the other side. Blessing upon blessing upon blessing. So that in a nutshell is what I believe totally gets in the way. It's just us. If we get out of our own way, nothing else can stop us. There is no other distraction.
Absolutely, especially when you say we get in our own way. That reminds me of how self-sabotage is us getting in our way. Us allowing little petty things to interrupt what we're doing.
Right.
I love that. It all comes back on us. It is our responsibility.
Yep.
I love that.
Definitely.
So what's I'm sorry. Continue.
Sorry.
No, continue. You continue.
And I was just going to say, and a lot of the times we have to put the blinders on and tune out, what we're hearing and tune into ourselves, because you know how sometimes when I'm going to use when you're a child, or I'm always use myself as an example. I'll do my hair, and I'll be thinking, it's looking cute, and I'll be feeling myself, and I'm all in the mirror like, oh, I'm cute. And you feel good about yourself. You feel good. You put your clothes on, your outfit on, you step outside, and you just know it's like good. It's like that confidence is like, it exudes. Like people recognize that confidence. Now, I could be looking like a fool. Hair could be toe up, makeup toe up, but no one will notice that because my confidence is there, because I know I feel good. But what happens is we allow other people to say, why are you wearing your hair like that? Or you shouldn't wear your hair like that. That don't look good on you, or that color don't look good on you. I don't like that on you. You should do this. You're making them feel comfortable. They are feeling comfortable because they are changing you to look like what they want you to look like. But you, in turn, now you feel uncomfortable. Now you're unsure of yourself because you're like, okay, well, I thought I looked cute. Well, they said I didn't look cute. Now you're sitting there unsure. That self-doubt kicks in. So when it comes to your goals and the things that you want to do with you have to tune out and tune in.
All right.
And, I could go on a tangent, so let me be quiet. Let me let you go on, because I go off on a tangent.
Oh no, it is quite all right. We still have a good amount of time. It is quite all right. So let me ask you, what are some specific techniques that we can implement in our lives to increase our chances of hitting our goals?
I have a few things, but I'll talk about a couple of the main things. But one of the first main things that I would say is write it down. Write it down. Make the vision and make the plan. Make the vision. Make the plan. Make it plain. Create a timeline that you can see. There was an article that I had read online, psychologytoday.com, and it spoke about how actual note-taking forces us to process things deeply. So when you are writing down, let's go back to nurturing the soil, and you're thinking about the things that you want to do, when you're writing it down, you are, in essence, recording this to your memory. Everything is attached to you writing that stuff down. Your emotions are being attached. Your feelings are being attached. Everything is being attached to you physically writing that down. So when you do that, you record it to memory. You see it. So even when that notebook is not in front of you anymore, when you are driving down the street or when you're in the store and you recall something that you want to do, you're going to see that page that you wrote out in your notebook. And it's going to make you want to go back to that to say, okay, I have something else I need to write in that. I have something else to do. So write it down. The third thing, or the second thing I would say, is make sure that your goals are short and to the point. You don't want goals that are drawn on and evasive, difficult to figure out. You don't know what direction you're going or what you need to do to achieve it. You want to be realistic. You want something, you don't want it to be something that sounds magnificent to your friends and families, but it's something that you don't have the power to attain. one of the examples that I like to give is like, say, for example, you want to open a restaurant. So you don't want to say something like, in 2016, I want to open a restaurant. You want to say something like, in 2016, I want to open a restaurant that caters to the hotel organizations. I'm just making this up off the top of my head. That caters to the hotel organizations. By second quarter, I want to have made 100,000, and by end of year, I want to partner with XYZ. You want to be specific so that you know what you're working towards. So make sure you're short and to the point. Another thing that really helps me, and I have to say is absolutely wonderful, is like I'm really linear. Like I have to have things written down, and it has to be by this day and this day, etc. So for me, I have to break things down into daily, weekly, or monthly categories. And what I like to tell my clients in my course is that to work in 90-day increments. So if you have a year-long goal or something that you want to accomplish by the end of the year, make your overall long-term goal, but then break that down into so that it's not so overwhelming. So the first 90 days, what do you need to do in those to accomplish that long-term? And then break that down into 30 days. What can you do in those 30 days that's going to help you get to the 90-day goal? And then break that down. What can I do in this week that's going to help me reach that 1 month goal, that's going to help me reach the 90-day goal, that will help me reach the 1 year goal? So when you break it down like that, it's not so overwhelming. It's kind of like that one bite at a time, that analogy, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? So when you're looking at the year-long goal, it's not so overwhelming when you break it down into pieces. So that helps tremendously. And lastly, a bonus, manage your time. That is so important. One of the very thing that I get all the time is people who come to me and they want me to help them strategize and create a schedule to help them manage their time. And that if you don't have boundaries set where between X time and X time you're going to be working on this. If someone intrudes in that, you need to be able to say, hey, no, I will get to you, at 5 o'clock, but between 3 and 5 o'clock I'm working on this. You need to have those boundaries and be able to manage that. And life happens, things are going to get in the way, so you need to be a little bit flexible as well. But managing your time is definitely key.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those 4 tips. So just to recap for those, I know a few people were joining as Stephanie was speaking. The first one she said was to write it down, record your goal. The second technique she said was to make your goals short and specific. The third thing that Stephanie told us was to set 90-day goals, so this way you will not overwhelm yourself, and then break those 90-day goals down. Break them down to monthly, weekly, then daily. And then the fourth key that she gave us was to manage your time. Okay? And those are really great, because recently I had quit my job. I became a full-time entrepreneur for my clients and for my other businesses. And one of the main things that I had to learn and that I'm still working on is the time management. Some people assume that once you get out of your job, because most of us, being visionaries, we don't want to work for somebody else.
Right.
So one of the main things that I struggled with was the time management. So one of the wonderful things that was suggested to me was to make sure that every hour of my day is scheduled.
Yes.
And I do find that when I do that, I get a lot more accomplished. So you guys can add that on as your number 5 tip. Okay. Exactly. And the other thing is, what happens, because I know we set goals, but just sometimes we don't hit those goals. And a lot of us, we can get so down on ourselves and so depressed about it. Some of us give up. What are some things that you suggest? What do we do if we don't hit a goal that we set?
The first thing is do not give up. Do not give up, and don't panic. because what happens is when you first set out to do something, is you're learning. Just think of it as a baby. When a baby is first learning how to walk, they get up, they kind of wobble, they kind of stumble a little bit, they fall, they bruise their knee, they cry, but they get back up and they try again because they don't know any better. It's like that something tells them, get back up and try again. And they keep doing it until they get better and better, and then they're running all over the place. So you have to think of you reaching your goals as the same way. Don't give up. Reevaluate what you did so that you can learn not to do it again. So that if you tried something and it didn't work, don't think, I'm never going to try it again. No, just say, okay, can't do it that way. But what did I learn from that did work? And now let me celebrate that and let me do that times 10 because that seemed to work. So let me do that times 10 and keep going. Also, what I like to do is have safe words or theme words that I refer back to when I lose focus, if I get overwhelmed, or if I just want to say, forget it, I can't do this, is have those safe words. And one, word that is consistent with me is transparency and discipline. If I'm transparent with what I'm trying to do and sharing that with my audience, I have no choice but to be better. But if I'm trying to manipulate and pretend like I'm this and I'm that, then I'm doing a disservice to myself and my audience by trying to help them because I'm trying to show them how to maximize their zone by setting goals and doing whatever. So share that and, be accountable. Make yourself accountable so that if you don't hit that goal, someone can say, hey, try this. Or I know you didn't, do that, but you can do it again. You have my support, you have my encouragement, etc. Use affirmations. Speak positivity over your life. Instead of, I'm going to or I will, I am. Speaking
yes.
in the current tense. I am going to do this. Or if you're seeking to be a business owner, I am a business owner. Say it like you already are. Walk in it like you already are. And when it happens, you are already covered in it. And I have to say be flexible because life happens. And you also have to remember that even though that we want to have something in our time, we want to do something a certain way, but we have to remember it's God's time and God's plan. So he gives us the vision and he tells us, okay, now go, and we work in it, but we have to remember that it may not happen when we want it to happen, but it'll happen when he wants it to happen. We may feel like we're being hidden, that it's not working out, that no one sees us, we're working for nothing, but God is clearing a path for you. So you just have to hold tight, be flexible, keep being underground, doing the work, digging, trying to figure things out. If you fail, so what? You failed, but keep trying. Learn from that failure. And remember that his master plan is the plan. And when that plan is revealed, baby, listen, you gotta watch out.
Amen. Amen. That reminds me of when you said that everything is in God's timing. That reminds me of the Bible scriptures that tells us for everything there is a time under the sun. There's a time and a season for everything, a time to cry, a time to be angry, a time to do this, a time to do that. And it also reminds me of when Paul tells us in the scriptures that the waterer, the person that plants the seed, and the person that is the same person, but it is God who grants the increase.
Yes, yes, yes. Amen. That is so true. That is so true. I believe he wants to see how much do you want it. Like we can pray, you can pray, I want it, I want it, I want it, and he will plant the seed. He will give you the seed to plant, but you have to do the work to nurture it, to love it, to help it to grow. And once he sees that you really want it and that you are doing the work to get it, he will grant it to you. But he has to see you doing it first. If you giving up on it, then to him it's like, oh, you didn't really want it in the first place. So why would I waste this blessing on you when I have Sally over here who is desperate for it, who's doing all she can for it, willing to she's putting her all in. I'm going to bless her. I'm not going to bless you because you gave up before you even started.
Mm.
I had to learn that lesson the hard way. The hard way.
Okay.
So yeah, you got to put that work in. Like they say, put that work in.
Absolutely. And we know that God blesses the hands of the diligent. And if you are slack and slothful in pursuing of your dream and the vision that he is giving you, then that will not be blessed either. So one of the ways that we can be diligent is by setting goals and taking action.
Yes.
Okay. So also, I want to remind you guys, if you guys have any questions, because no one has posted questions in the group yet, if you have questions that you would like to ask Stephanie, please post them in the group. In order to access the group, you go to www.KingdomVisionaries.Igniteᵃ.com. Ask to join the group. I'll add you in immediately. Post your question, and then we will go ahead and present Stephanie with that question, okay? I know someone out there has a question or two regarding goal setting and how you can perhaps set your personal goals, okay? And Stephanie, I have another question for you. What type of role has God played in your business?
Oh, man. Everything that I do is through him. He is my guide. My entire business and endeavors are centered around my purpose of helping others to see their worth and value and to use that to propel them forward. And that could not have been discovered if it was not for him guiding me. So I'd like to share the story of how my entire curriculum for my girls program was written out in a journal.
Please
in a
do.
9-month period.
Yes.
And what happened was January of 2012, I started waking up in the middle of the night, like 3 o'clock in the morning. Anytime between 3:04, 3:06, any one of those times, I will wake up like clockwork. And I loved my sleep. I still love my sleep. So I would get so irritated that, okay, I'm awake, I can't go back to sleep. And anything I would try, if I went to sleep earlier so I could sleep, longer, I would still wake up. I could go to sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning. I would still wake up at that time. And I couldn't understand what was going on until my aunt said to me, she said, that is the hour that God is trying to talk to you. He knows that the only time he can speak to you and you can hear him is when he wakes you up from your sleep. Because during the day, I was on the move. I was on the go. I was trying to do this. I had my hand in so many different things that I didn't have time for nothing. I ain't got time to listen to God. God, I'm going to pray with you at night. We're going to talk at night. I'll talk in the morning, but during the day, I got things to do. So that was the only time he could talk to me. So during that time, he began stripping me of all of that stuff. Stuff that I thought was important no longer was important. Stuff that I thought I wanted to do, I no longer wanted to do. And all I could do was write. I mean, when I say I was writing stuff from my childhood, stuff from my past, I was experiencing all types of emotions that I'm like, okay, where is this coming from? What did I eat last night? Like, I had no understanding. But because my aunt said he's trying to talk to you, I just wrote. Whatever I woke up and was in the mood to write, I just wrote. At the time, it made no sense whatsoever. The stuff that I was writing about, it made no sense. I mean, in that journal, there were pictures. I was doodling. There was, drawing. I mean, all types of stuff. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I don't know what you are trying to tell me, but whatever I need to do to go back to sleep, I will do it. I was just concerned about my sleep. But when I started, I started working with kids, and I never wanted to, I always said I wanted to work with kids in some capacity, but I never knew how, and I thought my time had come and gone for teaching and all that stuff. I was like, I'm not going back to school. So when I was asked to mentor, I was like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I'll be behind the scenes. I don't want to do that, because I'm like, I don't have anything to share, with those kids. No, I don't want to do that. But when I started mentoring and I started talking to the girls, it was like a weight was lifted off of me, because the things that they were sharing with me, it was like things that I had already gone through, stuff that I thought only me had gone through. And that first night that I began mentoring was the very first night that I slept through the night. And
wow,
I was so, I woke up like, oh my God, I slept through the night. Oh my God, what happened? And when I went back and started looking at my journal, my entire program for Be Candy Coated was written, including the name, what it was supposed to be about, the mission, everything was written in that journal in that 9-month period. And it all comes together because in 9 months, a baby is in the womb. It takes 9 months for a baby to grow and be nurtured in the womb. And that's what Be Candy Coated was. It was a baby that I needed to birth. But because I was so busy trying to do so many other things that did not have anything to do with my purpose, anything that God wanted me to do, I was busy running doing that he needed to strip me and sit me down and take away my sleep so that he can help me nurture this baby. So
wow.
I have to tell you that since then, everything I do is God first. I consult, okay, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I will sit and wait. If he tells me to wait, I wait. If he tells me to write, I write. If he tells me to go, I go. Because that right there, that was my proof that God has a hand on this life right here. And I've seen it in others, right. And I've seen others give the testimony, but I never felt it in mine. I know he was there. I knew he was there, but I never felt it in mine until then. So ever since then, nope, you can't tell me nothing. That man right there.
Hallelujah.
When it comes to letting him guide me, I play no games.
I know that's right. There's this quote by somebody that I follow. His name is Myron Golden, and I love when he says, God knows where the gold is.
I like that.
Yes, he said, God knows where the gold is, and if we but listen to him, hearken to his voice, seek him in prayer, seek him in his word, he will tell us where to find the gold.
Yes, so sure will.
Absolutely. And when you're saying, oh, my goodness, I can so resonate, because as entrepreneurs, we get so driven, we get so passionate, so consumed with our purpose and our dream that we leave the person that gave us the dream out sometimes.
Yes.
I know I've been guilty of it. I know I've been guilty of it. So, he will begin to interrupt that sleep. And in the Bible anyway, in Proverbs, it tells us, love not to sleep.
Yeah.
So,
and that was me. Oh, I love my sleep. Oh, I would get nice and comfortable and cozy.
Yes. Real, you be in that good REM sleep, and here he come waking you up. It's happened to the best of us. So I have some good news. We actually have some questions today.
Awesome. Okay.
Yes, wonderful. We have some questions for you. So the lovely Ashley, she has asked, do you have any wait, let me see here. Does she have she's referring to you, does she have a suggested type of journal/calendar for business? My journals tend to get mixed with personal and business goals.
That's an awesome question, Ashley. And for me, I would have to say I have all types of journals. Like I am a journal addict. So I have journals for business and I have journals for personal, mainly because, and I do the same thing. My journals will, if I'm writing in my business journal, you can't help but to have your personal kind of like fall into that. The things that you're experiencing will fall into that as you're writing in your business journal. But what I would suggest is what I've began doing is taking a journal and dividing it up into parts. And you don't have to be, technical or specific, but like I'll start my journal, like say if it's my business journal and I'm writing in it and I'm writing all my business ideas and, everything, I'll take that beginning part and that'll just be like my ideas, business ideas, thoughts that I have, nothing that I need to plan out right away, but just, I'm doing a brain dump. So that first, section of the journal will just be that. And then I'll skip a couple pages or I'll, go midway into the journal. And then that will be, kind of like, my business plan, things that I need to do, my 90-day plan that I need to work out, how I'm going to break that down into the months and the weeks. And then as I'm writing, again, I can't help, if I have personal things, thoughts that are coming in that, that have to do with my experiences and things that I've gone through that's going to help in this business endeavor or is going to help a client, I'll flip to the very back of the book and I'll start writing that so that it kind of helps me separate it so that I kind of know where everything is. Because if you're anything like me, I keep journals everywhere. I keep journals in my bedroom. I have journals on my desk.
Yes,
I have little mini notebooks in my car. So it becomes too much to have, okay, here's my business journal, here's my personal journal. It becomes too much. So it's a little bit easier if I just take the, journal that I'm working with and just divide it up that way. So
okay, thank you. Thank you, Ashley. I hope that answers your question, love. And we have a few more questions, and we're definitely going to get to them. But before we do, I have an announcement to make. All right, to everyone who is listening, I have an amazing opportunity for you. I'm having my very first free webinar. It is called Ignite, Stand Out, Attract Customers, and Build an Incredible Brand. I'm going to help you locate your target customer. I'm going to teach you the things that you need to do in order to set up a successful business. I'm also going to show you of how you can create brand consistency throughout all of your social media channels, and that's just a free webinar event. If you are struggling to attract customers and to build a brand, this webinar is for you. I want to invite you to bit.ly/struggle-no-more-2016. Again, that is www.b as in boy, I, T as in Thomas, L as in Larry, Y/struggle-no-more-2016. Go ahead, sign up, register for the free event. Okay, it will take place on February the 8th at 8 p.m. Standard Eastern Time. And then now that I have made that announcement, we are going to jump back into questions. So we have a question from Mr. Diomari Bailey, and he asks, I wrote out a business idea. I want to know how I can bring it to life.
Okay. So you wrote out the business idea. So you wrote out the plan, or you just wrote out the idea? I need just a little bit more specifics. Did you write? I mean, because I'll answer that in both ways. If you wrote out the actual idea, then I would suggest that you start going through the process of asking yourself, how is this going to make your life better? What is your why? Why is this the perfect idea for you? Start answering those questions for yourself, building your foundation so that when you get ready to accomplish it, you're firm in it. Once you do that, then do your research. I don't know what the business idea may be, but, do your research in that particular industry. Is it a viable idea? Is there other people that are currently doing it? Are they successful at it? Are there other companies that are larger companies that are currently, doing the idea? What is their success rate? Look at your target market. Do your research in that first. So once you start building your research, you're in essence building your blueprint. So once you do that, you can kind of see, okay, it starts to take shape as a business. And then what you do is you add your piece into it, your personality, who you are. You add your spin on it because you've already seen that there's other people that may be doing it. It's out there. You add your spin on it. So
okay.
I hope that answers your question.
Okay, and we have another question. My husband wrote this one down for me because I couldn't find the name. But it says here, sometimes we set high goals that we don't accomplish. How do we know when or if it's time to change direction?
That is an awesome question. I say if your inner gut is telling you to keep going, if that instinct is telling you to keep going, then you keep going with that goal. You just change the route. Sometimes we do set goals that are way too high for us. We're not at that level. And I'm not trying to shoot anyone down because I've done, the same myself. But if you set something that's way too high that you can't reach, you are going to get frustrated because you're going to keep jumping and jumping and jumping forward, but you don't have the stamina to reach it. So what you have to do is you have to build the steps to get to it. So you have to kind of start from, the end backwards. This is ultimately what you want, but I have to realistically think, this is where I am right now. So what steps can I take where I am right now to get myself one step higher? And then once you get that one step higher, now what can I do to get 2 steps higher? So you build up to that. So if you feel it deep down inside that that's what you want to do, it's something that you've longed for, you continue to fight for it and go for it. But whenever you feel like the passion is gone, you don't want to do it anymore, it's become a burden to you, you roll your eyes whenever you think about it, that's not something that you want to do. And I'm going to be transparent and use my own self, as an example. I started a business, which kind of brought all of this on. It's Candy Coated Bags. It was an online handbag boutique for my love of handbags. And what I didn't realize at the time is I didn't really want to sell the handbags. I just wanted to share why I collected the handbags, but I didn't know how to share my story. So when I started the handbags, and it escalated and it took off, it did well, but I started rolling my eyes whenever I would get an order. You would think people would be like, "Oh, I got an order, yay, that's money coming in." No, I was like, "Oh God, no, I got to ship this bag. Oh God, I got to go to the post office." It became a burden. So when it gets to that point, it doesn't matter how high it is or how low it is. When it gets to the point where you are irritated with doing it, let it go, because you're doing yourself and everybody else a disservice. So
totally agree.
That's definitely how I tell when something's not right, when I don't want to do it, and I'm feeling that way, I let it go, and the weight will be lifted. But if you feel deep down inside and it's tugging at you, you gotta make that thing work.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. Something that is destined for you, something that is a part of your purpose, the question of giving up, it is only momentary, but it's not something that's going to last forever. And if you do find yourself thinking about giving up on it, just the thought becomes unbearable. You have to pursue it because it's part of your purpose. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have another question. We have another question from Ms. Sharice Walker-Betts. Thank you so much for your question. It reads, is there a specific... you know Sharice? Okay, good. Awesome. Is there a specific template/format she uses that has proven to be helpful in having the most success?
Yes, there is. I actually created my own template, my own blueprint, and it's called Think, Plan, and Implement. And I kind of talked about that here, where you have to think about what it is that you're trying to do. And I have like a list of questions that I give to my clients to ask themselves to kind of help them to figure out, is this something that they really want to do, or is this a someday goal, maybe type of goal, to help them kind of clarify. The planning part is the actual writing it down. And there's an art to writing down your goals. People think that, and I don't have enough time to explain it here, but people think that you can just write it down and be done with it. No, you have to write and you have to do research. Goal set, that's why it's an art. It's like an essay. It's like you're writing. It's like you're doing a research paper, because it's like you start with your topic, and then you have to create your outline, which is your thinking. And then when you create your outline, your research is your planning, and your implementation is you actually writing the paper, actually you taking action to fulfill that goal. So, yes, I do have a process. And my clients, they sometimes they get a little mad at me because I make them do the work, but when it's all said and done and, they feel accomplished, it kind of weighs itself out, because I don't believe in just, saying, oh, I'm going to, lose 30 pounds by, June. My thing is, how are you going to do it? Who's going to keep you accountable? What actions are you going to take to do it? So I need to know those specifics. And if you can't tell me those specifics, then that's not, then to me, the commitment is not there. So I make you to make sure that it's something that you really want to do. So I hope that answers your question. Yes, it is a specific format that I use to make sure that you are successful in your goals. If you would like, if anyone else is on the call, if you would like, I can send out a copy of the template, just to kind of summarize what you can start doing to start, the implementation. If you want to go to my website, it's www.readysetgoalsonline.com, and you can get on the wait list for my course that's coming up in March. But what I also do is I send out emails with tips and resources and freebies that you can use to help implement your goals and help actually achieve your goals. So if you go to, again, www.readysetgoalsonline.com, and just when you read through the information and just put in your email information, I can send that out to you.
Okay, and Stephanie, we have time for like one more question, and we got to keep this one short because we're about to go over the time limit. But this is the final question from Ms. Rashonda Saunders. She said, how do I go about setting goals in a business partnership?
I would suggest that you know what you want first. And if I'm clear on what you're asking in this question, have a business and, another person has a business, or two people want to go into a business together, you need to know why you're going into the business, because even though it's a partnership, you're both individuals first. So what you want, and then they need to know what they want, and then the two of you need to come together to compromise. So in those goals, you need to make sure that your goals are going to be met with this partnership and that his or her goals will be met. If not, then you may have to, draw back and kind of figure out, what would be the best thing for you and them at the time. If it is something like if it's two businesses coming together, without a doubt, those two businesses do have goals and agendas. So you have to make sure that those two things are aligned with one another and that you get what you need out of it and they get what they need out of it. It should be an equal thing. You are giving too much, then you're going to lose out. So just kind of make sure you're going knowing what it is that you want.
That is great advice. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for joining us today. Are there any other announcements that you would like to announce before I greet everyone a goodbye for tonight?
The only thing I would like to announce is that my Ready Set Goals course is live. I have it. Our first enrollment happened in January, and those clients of mine that are enrolled are going through the program now. It is a program. It helps you create the path to your success, where we go into deep dive detail of the blueprint, the Think, Plan, Implement blueprint. It will be open for enrollment again in March. And right now, if you sign up now, you'll be on the wait list, and you'll be able to get, all of the details about when the program opens, early bird specials, et cetera, as well as the tips and information that will be sent out to help you keep your goals aligned. So I'm very excited about that. This is the kind of the first time I'm opening up to the public, because usually I'm, one-on-one client. So this is my first actual public course that I'm offering. So very excited about that.
That is beautiful.
So I hope to see some of you on, in the course.
Many blessings to you on that. And that's where they can sign up at www.readysetgoalsonline.com.
Yes.
Okay, so if this is something that you guys feel that you need to take your business to the next level, if you have issues with goal setting, then yes, go ahead and sign up. Make the investment of your time and the investment and whatever that she is asking for in order for this course to bless and enrich your life and your business. I am sure it is worth it. All right. And I want to invite you all back tomorrow where we will be talking about the power of sowing seeds for harvest and how to find money to help fund your business, okay? And we will be doing that tomorrow with personal finance guru, the preacher, the teacher, the transformational speaker herself, the lovely Mrs. LaToya Fonville III. Join me back here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Standard Eastern Time, and we are going to rock it out. I am going to post this call in our group. It will be accessible for 24 hours only, so listen to it as much as you can. Download it. I pray that this has blessed all of your lives. You all have a good night.